Hi. I'd just like to make a couple of comments here. Someone was saying they thought that it would be fair to do this, that we should consider being fair, and I think we considered fair by letting people come to this country legally, not illegally. They're expecting us to be fair to them, but they're not fair to us by coming illegally. It was also stated that, I think Rep. Williams said, as far as her other bill, that if the child support payment wasn't paid, that we should pull licenses. Well, I think that if you come to this country illegally, you should not be able to get a license either. I don't see what the difference would be. And if it is permitted for them to get a license, would that information be open information? Would that be, they say they're afraid to hide, but that's all they're doing. Right now they're hiding. So would that be available to the public to know how many illegals do have licenses now? Again, that could probably be used towards the voter registry, how the people vote, and we could cross-match them. And it was also commented that right now they don't have licenses. They drive around in fear, which they're not supposed to be driving, period. But they drive around in fear, which tells me that they know they broke the law when they came here. And they know they break the law every day they stay here. They don't just break the law once. They break the law every day they're here because they're supposed to leave. They're not supposed to be here. And just another thing that came to my mind is if they get a license in Rhode Island, they realize that other states don't necessarily honor that privilege in their states. And it was also brought up earlier, but I want to reiterate that just because they get a license doesn't necessarily make it safer. Getting a license doesn't require you to get insurance until you register the car, which means they could drive somebody else's car, and roads wouldn't be any safer. And I think that's about everything I wanted to say. So, if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Fitzgerald, I just have a comment. I believe that an unlicensed driver would not be covered by the insurance that's on the car. So,
right. So if they have a license and they drive someone else's car, the roads aren't any safer just because they have a license. That's what I'm saying. That car may be insured, but that car would have been insured anyways, even if they didn't have a license, because it's someone else's car, or it should be insured.
The insurance likely, though, wouldn't have protected anyone who was injured if the driver was not licensed.
If that person doesn't have a license, they're not supposed to be driving either. They shouldn't even be behind the wheel. So by not having a license, theoretically, they wouldn't be driving.
Thank you. Representative Knight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When somebody gets a license, they have to pass an exam and a driving test. That's what makes it safer. It's not necessarily an insurance thing. I get the insurance things. We insure cars. We don't insure drivers unless they're a high-risk driver. If you're a high-risk driver, you have to get what's called an SR22, which actually insures you as the driver, no matter what vehicle you're doing. We don't do that for anybody. So the point here is it's not to the point here is to improve the driving conditions and the safety of the driving conditions on the road for all the Rhode Islanders that are out there on the highways. It is just like Senator Chachon said, it's not an immigration thing. That's a federal issue.
But if you give them a license, now you're putting them on the road. If they're not on the road, you reduce the chance of an accident.
They're on the road now.
Well,
That is, let me speak, please. They are on the road now. That is the reality that faces everybody in this country these days. There is this hysteria about illegal immigration. There's 11 million people who are here who are undocumented. Let me tell you, they're driving, they're living, they're paying taxes, they're paying rent. Some of them are committing crimes, and they need to be found, punished, and then when they're done with their punishment, they need to go back. But the fundamental, logical problem with your statement is that folks are already out there trying to make their way in life. They're already on the roads. And when my daughter takes the road in a couple of years because she's going to turn 16 and she's going to get her license, I want to make sure that those roads are as safe as possible for her. That's it. At the end of the day, that is the fundamental
I don't believe
purpose.
what you said. You don't want
I'm
to
not
say
done.
because
I'm
Well,
not
hang on,
done.
hang on. Mr. Fitzgerald, if you let Mr. Knight finish, then you will have the microphone. Representative Knight.
Thank you. It's a safety issue at the end of the day. That's all it is. Everything else is secondary to that concern. The feds can deal with the immigration issues.
Okay, Mr. Fitzgerald, if you'd like to respond, feel free.
if Rhode Island followed federal law, helped assist the federal laws, they wouldn't be here either. So that would be another consideration. You're saying you want them to be safe, you want them to have driver's license. By telling them that you're here illegally, it's all right to stay, then you say, then you create more of a problem. They should be deported and come in legally, the right way, before they start getting privileges and before we have to worry about safe roads.
Anything else, Mr. Fitzgerald?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Are there any more questions for Mr. Fitzgerald? Okay, thank you very much.